Hey, thanks for joining me to color. Today we are going to be working on this adorable Magnolia image called Tilda in the Mountains. Isn't she cute? I will put a link down in the description box to the card kit and all the supplies I used. I would love for you to come shopping with me. Also, if you like the video, if you'd hit the like button, that would be wonderful. And if you're not a subscriber yet, go ahead and do that so you'll get an update every time I load a new video. So I have already stamped my image on Nina 80-pound solar white cardstock with Memento Tuxedo Black ink. So let's color. Alright, so let's start out by outlining our image, and for that we're going to use C0, C00, and our colorless blender. So I'm going to start with my C0, and I want to add some, where I think there's going to be a little bit more darkness. So I'm going to go over here underneath of her hair, or her arm, because her hair's fallen here. And then let's go down the back side of her hair. And then since her hair's kind of falling on the back of this, I'm going to go down the back of her leg. And then let's do underneath of her ski. Same for this ski. And then underneath of her ski, I'm going to do a little dab in this V right here. And then let's go over here to this side. So I'm going to go underneath of her ski. And underneath of her pole there. And then I'm going to do a little bit right here where her knee is bent in. Like that. And then I'm going to grab my C00, and I'm just going to go all the way around. So I'm going to start down here at her boot, and I'm going to make my line a little bit wider than I normally do because I want to go back over the top of that C0. So I'm just going to go all the way around. And I'm going to go right here in the center of these two poles too. And we're going to work our way around to the other side. And I try to do the outlining first so that in case I get some on my girl, I can erase it. And also if I am colored with some of the colors, that my outlining tends to pick up some of the color and bring it out into my outline, and I don't want that. So doing it first saves me a lot of trouble. And we're just going to go down here to this bottom of this boot. And then I'm going to take my colorless blender, and I'm just going to rub over both colors and bring it out past into my white zone. And this will work best if your marker, your colorless blender is full or has a bunch of ink, it's really wet. If it's drying out, it's not going to work as good. And this will just soften the edge and blend those two colors together. Now I want to give her a little something to stand on. For that, I'm going to use B quadruple-0, B triple-0, W double-0, and W0. And I'm going to start with my B quadruple-0. And I'm just going to go up here past her boot a little bit, and then I'm just going to flick my finger, my pen across the paper. Let's go up here on this side of her boot. I'm going to bring it clear around so it's underneath of her boot all the way. And then I just want to flick out away and give it a few little streaks. And then I'm going to switch to B triple-0. And again, I want to go next to her boot. And then just sketch in a few little lines. And I think I'll do behind her boot just a little bit. Next I'm going to go with W0. W double-0, and same thing. I'm just going to sketch in some lines, and I'm not being very neat and tidy. I'm just adding a little bit of color. And then this is W0. Same thing. I'm just going to add a few lines through here and just give it some texture. And then I'm going to leave it like that. Now, let's do her skin. For that, we're going to use E53, E51, and E50. And for her cheeks, I'm going to use R02, R12, and R11. I'm going to start with my E53. I'm going to turn my girl here. And she's got a little bit of her neck showing, so I'm going to dab a little bit of that. And then I'm going to use this color to go where her shoulder starts. And I'm just going to do a small line next to her face, or next to where her hair is here, up underneath of her bangs. And then over here, just where it comes, her bangs come and meet the other side. Then I'm going to grab E51, and we're going to soften this line on her neck. I'm just going to go ahead and color it all the way in. And then for this color, I'm going to start here where I started the E53. And I'm just going to touch the E53 and then flick out away from it. Except for if you're on the bangs, we're going to just flick across there. And then up here, same thing. I'm just going to flick next to the edge into my white space. And then I'm going to go with E50. So for my E50, I'm going to start on my E51, and I'm going to flick into the middle. And I'm going to leave a little white patch there in the middle, but I'll fill that in on my second pass. Now I'm going to grab R02. And I'm going to use these dots that are on her cheek as my guide. So I'm going to put some R02, the darkest, out here on the edges. And then pull a little bit in the center. And then we'll go with R12 next. And we're going to touch down on top of our R02 and pull R12 out, away from it. And next is R11. And I just want to soften that edge just a little bit. And I think I'll take my R02 again. I pink him up a little bit more. She's outside, so I want him to be really pink. Okay, and I'm going to leave it like that. And I'm going to grab E51. And I'm going to go right over that cheek color. Same for this side. Let's go right over the top of that cheek color, pull out into the center, and then I'll take E50 to go over the entire thing. So I'm going to go clear over here to the side and pull it across, and then I'm going to come back this way. For her hair, let's use E44, 43, and 42. I'm going to start with my E44. And let's start here at this little, she's got a little pigtail wrapper, so I'm going to start right there. And I'm just going to flick away from that pigtail wrapper. And I want to go down here underneath of her arm too. And then down here where it kind of wraps underneath of her hair, I'm going to do a little bit of dark in there. Same for this little section. And just work my way down the curls here. And let's do this little curly too. I'm going to go ahead and color the end of that one in. And let's do the end of this one. Like that. And then we'll go up here and we're going to do where it comes on the other side of the hair bow. And since it wraps right here, it looks like it dips underneath of her other hair. I'm going to go ahead and do in there a little bit. And it looks kind of funky right here, so I'm going to add a couple little streaks right in here. Then we'll work our way up here towards her face. And maybe bring this one down next to her cheek. And then I want to do, let's do this one where it's going into her hat just a little bit. And then I want to do a couple little streaks coming out from underneath of her hat brim. And the same over here, we'll go underneath of her goggles. And then right here where it's kind of dipping into her face, I'm going to go ahead and add a little dark in there. And then right here where it's going back behind the ski again. And then I'm going to add some color with E43. So I'm going to go ahead and start down here at this pigtail again. So I'm just going to touch down on top of my E44 and add some flicks in there. And I try to get my flicks to go in the same direction that the hair is going. So like this one's swirling around over here like this. I want to get my flicks to kind of curve around with her hair. And we're just going to work our way over to the other side. And then I'm going to take E42 and add some more colors. Let's go in here. And you can leave some white in there if you want to. I tend to not do very well with the white streaks, so I usually get it all filled in. Okay, like that. And then I'm going to go back with my E44 and add a little bit more of my dark back in. So let's start down here at the bottom of my pigtail. And I try to keep my pen more up and down straight so that I can do some streaks and lines a little bit better. And a little bit over here. Like that. Next, let's do her boots, goggles, and skis. For that, we're going to use W5, 3, 1, and 00. I'm going to start down here on her boots with a W5. I'm going to use my W5 along the inside of this boot over here. I'm just going to go right down next to the front of this other boot. And I'm trying to keep a little skinny line. Let's go over the top of this other boot. And then right in here there's a little dip, so I'm going to fill that in. And then there's a little line right here on her boot that I'm going to go over. And then I'm going to fill in the sole. That. And then same for this boot over here. I want to do this little dip right here in her boot. And then come down this line. And we'll fill in the sole. And then for the back, let's go down the back of her boot. And then where it dips in right here, I'm going to bring my pin in a little bit more. And same for right here. I want to dip in a little bit. And then I'm going to bring it around in a little half curve right here. I'm going to go along the bottom above the line on her sole just a little bit too. Next I'm going to go with W3. So I'm going to go ahead and touch down on my last color. And I'm just going to lightly brush out into my white. And then right in here too, I want to get a little bit started where my laces are. Go around over here and bring this one in. I'll go over this a second time. There we go. Next I'm going to go with W1. So I'm going to go ahead and turn my girl this way a little bit. And I'm going to take my W1 and I want to go right over top of my W3. We're just going to flick out here into my white. And same for over here. I'm going to bring this in, that in. And then lastly, we'll take our W00 and fill in this last little bit. And then I'm going to take this color and go over the entire thing. I'm going to go right over the top of those strings too. I think I'll darken her boots up just a little bit more, so I'm going to grab my W5 again. And I'm just going to go right over where I already had my color and just fill it back in. I want it to be just a little bit more dark. And then W3. And then we'll do this side. Inside the laces. W1. And then finally with my W00, just to swirl it around over the entire boot. And blend all those colors together. Okay, I like that, so I'm going to leave them like that. And then we'll go up here and we'll do the skis. So I'm going to grab W5, and let's work on this side over here first. So I'm going to take my W5 and I'm going to go next to her hat and right along the edge of this bottom, or this top ski. And then for this bottom one, let's go right along her hat again. And then let's go right along the bottom of that ski. Then we'll go with W3. So let's take this, we'll touch down on top of our W5 and lightly brush this up a little bit. And right in here, I want it to kind of look like it's got a little dip, so I'm going to bring my brush up and make a little triangle right here. Then I'm going to go with W1. And then W00, and I want to make sure to get the top of this little section over here. Now brush clear across all those colors. Blend them together. Now I think I'll go back with my W3 and just need to soften this edge just a little bit more. I'm not liking how that turned out, so let's go ahead and come back and add some more W3. And then W1. And then W00 to go over that one more time. Okay, I like that better. So now let's go do this side over here. So I'm going to grab my W5 and let's do, right here next to her face and down along her coat. And then we're going to do the bottom of this ski. And also I'm going to do the back side of her hand. And then for this ski over here, I'm going to go where the top ski's touching it, underneath that and next to her coat. Then I'm going to grab W3, and we want to soften the edge, so I'm touching down on top of the W5 and flicking away from that out here into my white. Next is W1. and then W00 to fill it in. And then just like the other side, I'm going to go back with my W3. W1. And then over the entire thing with my W00 again. That leaves us with these goggles. So let's start with W5, and I'm just going to do the outside of the goggles. So I'm going to take my W5 right along the edge where it's touching her hair. And then W3. So I'm going to bring the W3, I'm going to cover up the whole bottom section, and then bring it up here towards this top. And then I'm going to go with W1, and that's kind of a smaller area, so I'm going to tip my pin so it's more straight up and down, so I can get in there. And then I'm going to fill in this little section with W00. I got a little bit of a line down here still, so I'm going to take my W3 and just go over this little section again real quick. And then I'll soften it with my W1. Alright, now let's do these poles right here. I forgot those. So I'm going to grab W5, and I'm very lightly going to go right along the edge of the bottom of my pole. I'm making just a little skinny line, and there's a little bit of a pole showing right in here. So I'm going to get that and continue over to the other side. And I'm going to grab W3 to fill it in. I also want to do these little circles around the pole. Let's get those so I don't forget. And then clear over to the other side. Let's do her coat, hat, pom-poms, and the hat brim next. For that, we're going to use BG11, 10, and B00. Let's start up here at the little pom-pom on her hat. I'm going to take BG11, and I'm just going to dot over these little dots the artist put right on there for me. And then I'm going to take BG10, and I want to go make those dots bigger. And then I'm going to swipe over the entire thing with B00. Next we'll do the hat brim, so I'm going to again grab BG11. And I'm going to come over here on this side. And she's got a couple of little lines over here, so I'm going to exaggerate those. I'm going to do a small line underneath of the goggles. And over here I'll go next to the goggles. And then I'm going to do this little dip. And I'm going to bring this side up a little bit. Next I'm going to go with BG10, and I want to soften that edge. And then we'll do the same over here. I'm going to go ahead and fill it in over here too. And then I'm going to take my B00 and just swipe over the whole thing to give it a little bit of a more blue tone. Then let's go down here and do this cute little jacket she's got. So BG11 first. So let's do inside of her collar here, and then where it's coming out. And then I'm just going to add some to each of the little lines that the jacket's got. these little puffs. Yeah, maybe a little bit next to this zipper. Okay, and then for this side, let's do away from the collar there. Bring that out a little bit more. And then again, I want to do each of the little lines for the puffs on her jacket. And then next to the zipper again. And then for her sleeve, let's do this. I'll give her a little crease right here. That. And then for her undersleeve, I'm going to go like this. Next we'll go with BG 10. So let's brush right over those lines we already drew. We just want to make them bigger. Soften the edges a little bit. A little bit of her jacket showing there on the bottom. And then we're going to bring this color up into her coat. And then we're going to fill it in with our B quadruple 0. And I'm going to go over the top of the zipper now. And around the bottom there. And then we'll fill in the rest of her sleeve. And she's also got a little bit down here, it looks like she's got some socks, so I'm going to go ahead and color those too. So I'm going to take BG 11, BG 10, and then my B quadruple 0 to fill it in. For her pants, let's use N2, 1, 0, and a colorless blender. I'm going to start with my N2. And I'm going to do that underneath of her hand and down the back of her jeans. And then let's do, she's got a little wrinkle right here, so let's exaggerate that. And with this wrinkle, and then I'm going to go right here on the inside of her, of this leg. And again, here's a little dot that has like a wrinkle, so I'm going to exaggerate that. And over here, down to her boot. Then for this leg, let's do in here, and there's a little bump right here, so I'm going to exaggerate that and work my way down here to the bottom. And then I also want to do on the inside of her leg. Next I'm going to go with N1. And I want to touch down on top of the N2 and bring it out just a little bit more. Just to soften that edge. And up to here, I'm going to go underneath of her jacket all the way. And then let's work our way down this side. Next is N0. And then I'm going to take my colorless blender and just swoosh over the middle of her pants on each leg. Just a little bit. And I also want to use this color up here on, she's got just a little tiny bit of her hat showing up here. So I'm going to take N2. And let's do a little section back here. There's a little dab right here showing. And then right next to the goggles. And then I want to take N1, if you still have some room, to fill the rest of that in. And I did, right here, in between her glasses and her hair, she's got a little bit of a hat showing. So I'm going to take BG11 and just fill that in. For inside the glass on her goggles, I forgot to do that. Let's use W0 and W00. I'm going to take my W0 first, and I'm just going to start down here at the bottom of her goggles. I'm going to flick up about halfway and fill that in. And then I'm going to fill it in with my W0, or my W00. Getting all my zeros messed up. Now let's do the gloves. For that we're going to use E44, 43, 42, and 41. I'm going to start with my E44, and let's do this glove first. I'm going to go right next to the ski pole and around the bottom of this glove. And I'm going to bring this little section down so it's kind of straight across. And then over here we want to go up on this glove, and then I'm going to go around. I'm going to leave a little dash of white there at the bottom just to give it a little bit of a highlight. Bring it over like that. And then I'm going to grab E43. And we're going to go right over the top. This one. And then I want to pull this one down. And then E42. And then E41 to fill it in and go across the entire thing. And I have a little bit of green there on the top of my glove, so this will work perfect for pushing that up. Now I think I'll take E43 again and just go over the top here just a little bit. Not liking how that looks, so I'm going to go over it a second time. And this is E42. And then E41. I like that. Okay, so let's take E43 down here again. E42. And then E41. There, that looks better. Okay, let's go do this second glove over here. So I'm going to grab, again, my E44, and let's do a little bit right here, and I'm going to exaggerate that line, and then over here there's a line, so I'm going to go ahead and bring that down. Let's go over here a little bit onto my glove, and then bring this around and give that a little bit of a line right here. And I'm going to do the bottom of the thumb right here, and then I'm going to bring this color down. And again, on this side, I'm going to leave a little bit of a white space there, just for a little bit of a highlight on her glove. Next is E43. I'm suspecting I'll have to go over it again, so I'm going to do, I'm not going to worry about lines, but this is E42. And then E41. Yeah, I'm going to want to do that one again. So let's grab E43. Going to flick up for my dark color I laid down. And then E42. I'm going to go around the bottom of this one too, I forgot. And then my E41 to go over the entire thing. So there is our adorable Tilda in the Mountains all colored up. Didn't she turn out great? And then again, here is my finished card. So on my finished card, I did some glossy accents inside the goggles, some Stickle Stardust on her hat brim and her pom-pom, some Spica glitter pen and clear for her hair. I did some little streaks in there. And then these little circles out here, the snow out here, I did some liquid pearls and opal on those to fill those in. And with that, when you put it on there, mine always tend to have a little peak on the top. So after I got them all filled in, I just lightly tapped my card on top of my hand or on the counter, and it flattened those all out. That worked out pretty good. So I hope you had fun coloring with me today. If you have a question, leave me a comment and I will get back to you. Otherwise, we will see you next time. Have a great day. Bye.